this life was all I ever wanted.
I'm not leaving. Not yet.
I was hoping you'd say that.
We gotta hit the streets, make some money.
People like us must destroy people like him. Buckle up.
Get Showtime free at Showtime.com.
How about Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master? I think the only guest we've ever had on this show, BC. We didn't have him on a regular MK. We had him on a preview, I think, for UFC 244. But we had him on just the same. And, wow, he submits Cory Sandhagen in about 90 seconds into the first round. I went through and I watched this one in great detail, BC. I'm so impressed by Aljamain Sterling, and I think that there's a point that needs to get made here. Number one, he is so obviously your top contender. I know Cody Garbrandt is back, and he's back in a big way, and if I'm Cody, I'm staying healthy, I'm staying ready, because you never know what could happen. But Aljamain Sterling is on a 5-fight win streak against very top contenders, including this last one, Cory Sandhagen, and what he showed was, in terms of his fight skills, there was nothing really exactly new here. I mean, we knew he could find the back. We knew he's deadly as a finisher. We know he's very, very strong. But what it just showed to me was sometimes you get these guys, BC, and they have a lot of promise and a lot of hype when they come into the UFC, but their promise and their hype isn't quite ready for the reality of things yet. And he had good wins, to be clear, but he had a few stumbles along the way. Not everyone has a John Jones-like run. Not everyone has, Anderson Silva coming over and beating Lieben and beating Franklin and all these, and Luter and all these guys. Some people have to figure it out a little bit differently, but boy, has he done that. Wow. He understands himself. He knows how to win. He knows what works for him. He knows if he has to stand, he can do that. If he wants to take it to the ground, he can do that. He had exactly the right game plan. I thought, take it to Cory early, use your grappling and strength advantage, and my goodness, that was such an application of force and skill and tenacity. And the last thing I'd say about it, BC, is, did you see the look on his face after he won? Right? It wasn't surprise exactly, but it was the fulfillment of something that he was telling himself was true and telling himself, and he was waiting for real proof in the real world, and then he made it. And it was so satisfying because you could tell there was a little bit of joy mixed with a little bit of pain, the pain of some of the setbacks or some of the hard lessons. But he has grown into something magisterial. He is your top contender. That guy is a winner, and not born, but proven through hard work, talent, and development. What a guy.
Yeah, you mentioned joy and pain. How about a little sunshine and rain? Pump it up, pump it up. Statement made here, Luke. I mean, it's almost as if Aljo read all the clippings and the headlines, knew that this division was about to burst, vacant title at stake. They didn't call him for the vacant title bout. And even though this was like a pick'em fight, and you and I, were very honest about that coming in, I think a lot of us started to go, we kind of feel like we know Aljo's ceiling, really good fighter, but how about this shiny new toy, Cory Sandhagen, who may be the dark horse of the division? He may have the brighter long-term potential, and as we mentioned, Garbrandt back and all these other guys. Well, no, Aljo on an already busy night was like, I got next, I got now, I got it all. I live for the funk, I die for the funk. And that's about as impressive of a performance as you possibly could see. Look, you never would have guessed he would have made it look that explosively easy with force against a guy who had never been handled like that in Sandhagen. I have so much respect for this performance. It was like watching somebody, it's kind of like Gilbert Burns a couple weeks back, right? It was like watching somebody leap through your television screen and get to that next level right before your eyes. It only makes this division way more fun because, Luke, I have no idea 12 months from now who's going to be your 135-pound champion. The only thing I think I do know is that this win should be enough to get him in a title fight right now. Now, is it good enough that Dana basically said he'll fight the winner of the vacant title bout? Sure, but we never really loved Jose Aldo in that spot. They went back to the well a second time, and now these young names who hadn't quite leaped are leaping in a big way. I don't think it's wrong to just say we screwed up. Sorry, Jose Aldo, you're going to go fight another legend or another name here. Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling might be the fight, and you're going to make a star out of whoever wins that. So why are we wasting our time, Luke? Put Aljo in the fight right now. Do it. Luke,
Would you
call
would
Sean
you,
Shelby. Do it, okay?
Would you put Cody Garbrandt and Jose Aldo together? Where would Cody go from here?
You know, Cody deserves a huge fight. I don't think you got to put a interim title or anything at stake. But if you pulled Jose Aldo out of there and you put Cody with him in a giant, live on ESPN main event or a pay-per-view co-main for good money, that's a great, victory. I do not think Cody secured a title shot with that win, but the way that Aljo did it and his marketing potential long-term and his growth as a fighter, seriously, Luke, how could you not right now be like, we effed up? Aljo's in.
You know, it's funny. You know what this reminded me of? A very different fight. And I do think that, here's the thing about Cory Sandhagen. He lost quickly and viciously and by the hands of Aljamain Sterling authoritatively. But I'm not ready to give up on that kid either. He's still young. He's still got some lessons. He actually still could be the dark horse for the bantamweight division, just not right now. There's still some things, obviously, he's going to have to work out and get better at, and I think he will. He's got the time and the talent and the team around him to get there. But when I think about Aljamain Sterling and this moment, it reminds me of sometimes in the UFC, BC, you know this, you'll see that this is why I like seeing top contender fight top contender. Sometimes the UFC makes them and sometimes they don't. It depends on how marketable they are and what they're trying to do with the champion and blah. But I remember distinctly when St. Pierre fought Frank Trigg. And it was one of these moments where it was like, ooh, St. Pierre is this up-and-coming guy, and he looks like the next big thing. But Frank Trigg was, I think, on a win streak at that point, and he had given very good fighters the business. He had given Dennis Hallman the business. Renato Verissimo, he had clubbed him. And you're like, I just don't know what's going to happen here. And then St. Pierre went in there and absolutely crushed him. And I was like, well, that's your guy. There's this moment in time where it looks like it's a pick'em fight, and one of these contenders says, no, sir, no, it is not today. And that was
John
Aljamain
Jones,
Sterling.
Ryan Bader, Luke. Revisit that.
Similar, exactly the same kind of thing, where you think it's pretty even and it's just not. So again, look at Ryan Bader, all the success he had. I think Cory Sandhagen will have that and potentially a whole lot more. But I just love these top contender versus top contender fights sometimes, BC. I know the UFC is reluctant to make them on occasion, but when you do, you get magic like this, you get sorting like this, you get cleanliness like this. These are some of my favorite MMA memories, to be honest with you.
Love it. Love it so much. Love it. Love the bantamweights, the 135ers. Yeah.
This life was all I ever wanted.
I'm not leaving. Not yet.
I was hoping you'd say that.
We gotta hit the streets, make some money.
People like us must destroy people like him. Buckle up.
Get Showtime free at Showtime.com.